Hi everyone, you're tuning in to Toon Trio. I'm Christian and I'm here with
Clayton
and Carver.
Today we're going to be discussing the topic of console wars, and our guests are Matthew and Dan.
Yeah, and Dan.
So why don't you guys tell us some stuff about yourselves?
You go first.
Well, as they said, my name's Matthew. Yeah, I'm about to be a senior in high school, and I'm a massive Nintendo fanboy.
Nice.
Oh yeah,
well,
I'm involved in theater.
Cool. I'm Dan. I'm actually Christian's uncle, and I'm a huge gamer fan, and also a programmer. I'm not in high school, but I'm just I write code and play a lot of video games. So yeah.
So I'll be, as you've probably read in the title, this is console wars basically, and so each one of us is kind of representing a console. We're going to be kind of explaining the pros and cons to it and that kind of stuff. So to start off, I think Clayton has the floor.
Yeah, alright, so the console I've got is PC, of course, the best. Some of the reasons that I think PC is the best, and I think you should, is like PC has a wider selection of online games. I mean, it has superior graphics, especially like from the new graphics cards like the 2080 NetForce GeForce, or NVIDIA GeForce. And then the PCs can also be used for more than gaming. You don't have to buy separate controllers or anything. It's easier to upgrade specific components such as graphic cards and other things like motherboards. Millions of online games are available on the internet. You can access Steam's massive library of games and everything like that. And then you got a lot of multiplayer games. You got keyboard and mouse step controls for gameplay. You can edit the resolution to like play up to like 4K, depending on like your monitor and what your PC can handle. Does anybody want to go next? Because that is all I have right now.
I'll go. I bet you could tell, like, by my little introduction, my console is a Nintendo Switch, which I gotta admit is the greatest console ever. Sorry, Clayton.
Okay.
What I gotta say about that is, like, I believe it's the best console because of, like, the word I think is technical abilities and stuff like that. It's both a home and portable console where you can play, like, I'd say Game of the Year worthy games like Super Mario Odyssey, Smash Bros. Ultimate, and Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Kirby Star Allies, all those kind of games. And kind of like the PC, it does have multiple different indie games on it. For example, like Undertale, Cuphead, Vending Machine, those games. Yeah, the controllers, even though they're on the small side, they work well for the Switch's capabilities. And not only that, it also has a entirely different supply of controllers made by Nintendo or made by third parties. Yeah, that's about it.
Okay. I'm going next. I'm Christian, and I'll be representing the PlayStation. So, I think one of the main things I found, one of the main things that I like about the PS4 is that it has over twice as many exclusive games as the Xbox. Just through, like, it's got, for example, the Spider-Man game, the new Spider-Man game. It's got Uncharted, Horizon, and a couple of others. But it's got like 229 exclusives, and so that's something I found really cool about it. The pricing for it is honestly really great for how much goes into the PS4. And yeah, plus the graphics are just amazing on the PS4. That's what I have on the PS4.
Cool. So I guess I'll talk a little bit about VR, just because I've got a lot of experience with it and stuff. But it's kind of its own little element, so I can't really say it's better than any other console because it's pretty much its own thing. But I've got PlayStation VR, and I've also got Oculus Quest, and I've also got PC VR. So I've kind of got a little bit of everything. But there's a ton of interesting content with VR, and it's definitely the future of gaming. I don't think 2D gaming, like a screen gaming, is going to go away or anything, but VR in general is just definitely like the next step in gaming. Much more immersive. I'm not sure if any of you guys have really played VR, and we can kind of talk more about that in the open discussion. But yeah, it's definitely a new kind of gaming in the world of, I guess, the whole world of gaming. So I guess I'll talk a little bit about that today. So, yeah.
So my name's Carver, and I'm going to talk about the Xbox a little bit. Definitely what I see are some good pros are it's quite easy to set up, and it stays very quiet with the air control to help keep it cool. Their controllers, in my opinion, have long battery life and seem to last longer. Voice commands it has. It's kind of cool. The only really con that I see that I personally have experienced is definitely using the Kinect is not the best. There is very much room for improvement. So that's a bit about Xbox, and that's what I'll be talking about.
Okay. So now we have just kind of extra questions and open discussion. So yeah, this is kind of interviewish type. Pretty much, you get to ask each other questions type thing.
Cool. Well, I'll kind of start out. So I'm kind of I like everything. So
Same here.
So I'm a PC gamer. I'm a Switch gamer. I'm a PlayStation gamer, and everything. But yeah, I've just got tons of experience with everything. It's pretty much not a right and wrong answer. It's just more of a preference. Like what do you like better versus like the controllers and things like that. But yeah. So, I don't know who wants to start with any discussion topics or anything.
Quick, when it comes to like all the VR capabilities, like, is there like a limit to it, or is there like just limitless by itself? Like what you can do on VR?
Well, I guess so. I mean, it's kind of limitless, as in, like, you could be in VR and still play, like, a 2D game, for instance. So, like, you can actually have, like, a fake TV, like a 300-inch TV in front of you, and play your PC games or even PlayStation or Xbox games on this giant virtual monitor in front of you. You could even use a controller. You don't have to use the VR like hand controllers. So in a way, it really is kind of like limitless, where you can play anything, do anything. Now that said, it's honestly a little uncomfortable to play 2D games with the VR headset on, because the they're getting lighter, but it's a little heavy. You can kind of get a little sweaty. If you're trying to like also snack or drink while you're playing, it's kind of hard to see the snacks and drinks around you. So you constantly have to take the headset off and put it back on. And so there's some clunkiness to it if you're just trying to game comfortably. But I think where it really shines is definitely just games that are real immersive, where they use the full features of VR. For instance, a game that just came out is Half-Life Alyx, which, in my opinion, is the best VR game out right now. It's just completely immersive. I mean, you use your hands to pick up stuff for the most part, and just weapons feel good. Like the whole gameplay feels great. It's hard to explain without actually experiencing it, but yeah, that's definitely where the VR shines the most, is doing more VR tuned games as opposed to kind of 2D games. Or I guess I've heard the term pancake games, where it's a pancake screen because it's flat. So yeah, but
I got you.
yeah.
But isn't VR like a part of everything now? Like, I know you said PC has VR, but PlayStation also has it, and I think Xbox is working on it right now.
Switch has
Yeah.
a Labo, yeah.
Yeah, and technically, yeah, I mean, every console's got some kind of VR. PlayStation's obviously the one that's got the most VR, and there's even a couple exclusive VR games that you can only play on PlayStation with VR. And surprisingly, I was actually kind of blown away by how well the PlayStation does VR, because if you look at the specs of the PlayStation, they're not really that great as if you compare it to like a PC today, for instance. But I was kind of surprised at how well, even just not even a Pro, just a regular PlayStation 4 handled rendering. Because when you're doing VR, you're actually rendering the same game image twice, because you have one for each eye from a different perspective. So the fact that you have to render the game twice just makes everything harder to render. So it's really interesting. And then the Switch, I haven't played with the Labo Switch stuff, but I've heard from some people it's actually works decent. But then again, the Switch wasn't really made for VR, and it's also significantly less powerful than a PlayStation or a PlayStation Pro, or even a PC for that matter. But I think where the Switch is great, it's just, I think Matthew was saying, it's just the portability. I love the Switch because I could pick it up and play it anywhere.
I agree with that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
The biggest perk there.
Yeah.
I
That's
think
kind of
like how much
Yeah.
you've been like on budget, because I think the only cons that PC has is like the cost and then the portability of it.
Yeah, I agree with that. Because definitely it seems that like laptops, like gaming laptops in specific, tend to cost more.
Yeah.
That's true. PCs definitely have a higher entry point for the most part. If you want to get a decent PC gaming computer or something, you're definitely going to spend probably close to twice as much as you would on a console.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like with mine, I spent about $900 on it, which was kind of in my budget. I just didn't want to spend above $1,000.
hmm
Yeah, but yours is a regular PC, isn't it, Carver?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, you'll probably spend another 1,000 to get it
Yeah.
up to like standards with the graphics card and this new motherboard handles gaming, and then including the fans that you have to do to make sure it stays cool and doesn't overheat.
hmm Yeah, and then one thing, it's kind of a pro and a con with this. Let's kind of tap into the PC versus console side of the discussion, which is with PCs, there's not like really an ongoing cost for playing online, whereas with consoles, you've got Xbox Gold or Xbox Live Gold, and then PS Plus, and you have to pay that if you want to play online. And I think the con is obviously it costs money to do that, but the pro is it does kind of I guess you could say weed out the like 10-year-olds, and things like that, or like the little kids that, or even younger that are playing, and it kind of helps keep the community a little more for the dedicated people that want to play online and aren't just playing online just to goof around. I mean, you still get a lot of that, but yeah, with PC, it's kind of just free game. Anyone can be online at any time.
Yeah. I just happened to think about it. A benefit for Switch is that their online subscription is way cheaper compared to the PlayStation and Xbox one.
That's true. Yeah,
that
it's a lot cheaper.
That is fair. My
Well,
opinion
yeah,
on the Switch
like-
Online service, though, is just like it was originally free, but for some reason Nintendo decided to jump on the bandwagon of charging people for online play, which in my opinion was really stupid to do.
Yeah.
But I do
Yeah.
admit, it is cheaper. Like $40 cheaper, I believe.
As for the whole online thing, if you also have to keep in mind, the PS4 is like a lot cheaper than the Xbox as well. So,
The Xbox.
I think for a year it's like 60 or something. But you can typically get deals on it.
Yeah, and I guess to make the subscription on consoles worth it, they do give out, at least 2 free games a month on each console,
oh yeah,
which is really
Yeah.
nice. So at least they're kind of like giving you back more than just like, oh, you pay and then all you get is online. So now you get 2 or more games a month for free, which is kind of
Which
nice.
is
I know
it's a
on
huge
Switch,
favorite.
yeah, and on Switch, I think the free games are just like old school games. Like you've got like your old Super
It's only
Nintendo.
it's only like some of the NES titles and SNES titles.
Yeah,
And I
But-
feel like that is one way that they bring in a lot more people to be interested in the online subscription. Because especially my parents, because I showed them that I could play old Nintendo games on it, and that kind of put them to like, oh, now I kind of want one.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, people in my family have literally just wanted to Switch a couple times because they found out the portable capabilities and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's the best part. That's why I've got a Switch. I love it because I can take it anywhere, take it on the go, or sit outside, play outside, whatever. But
Yeah, in my opinion, though, the Switch does have its flaws and stuff like that. Like, for example, like I mentioned earlier, the controllers, the traditional controller called the Joy-Con. It's smaller than your hand, which is just a little bit of issue. But probably the biggest flaw with it, though, is the drifting.
Yes.
I don't know what's
Yeah.
up with
I
don't
think. What
the
was
thing with that is Nintendo has actually gotten sued because of the driftings in the Joy-Cons.
yeah, I've
Yeah.
definitely had issues with drifting.
What is
Probably why I
nice
mainly
about
stick with
it
the game
is
controller.
when they found out about it, I looked into and they announced that you can send it back for free to get that fixed. So at least that kind of eases it. But it still should not be happening as
I can
often
see
as
that.
it does.
But like I said, if you or what I meant to say is, if you try and discard those Joy-Con drifting flaws, it's I feel like the Switch does offer all PCs, the PlayStation, the Xbox, and a little bit of the VR all into one.
I think the
like-
best thing about the
With the Labo, Nintendo Labo, that cardboard thing, it does offer a sort of VR, but it's not the really best VR. But like I said, the PC also has a bunch of indie games on it too, which is some of them are on the Switch, and also exclusive Xbox and PlayStation games were also ported over to the Switch, so you can play them on the go and your home.
Well,
Honestly, I
and
feel
some
that's
Yeah, I think
Mhm.
that the Switch is literally its portability. Like, you can literally take it anywhere, like on a road trip or anything.
Yeah.
well, yeah, and
I think like an airplane, but I don't know.
you can. I just haven't really used it on an airplane.
yeah,
Mhm.
well, something that I find really unique about the Switch is first off, of how unique it is compared to all the other stuff, because you can like pretty much use it like it has like all these different settings that you can use it for. With like different ways of having a controller, different ways of setting it up to like a TV, or just using it like almost like an iPad.
Yeah.
So just how like wide of a range it covers, I think that is what makes it so unique.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
literally the Switch as literally like an iPad with controllers.
Yeah.
Yeah, but to be fair though, I would rather Switch using a controller. I'm not sorry.
Um,
What do you guys think about the whole controller situation for like consoles?
the one thing
It-
that I have to say about, for me being an Xbox and a Switch gamer, it's really difficult to switch between the two of them because their A and B buttons are switched.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Oh
that
my
is
gosh,
one
I
issue I
hate
have
that.
with like the PlayStation and the Switch's controller systems combined together, because I do have both of them. And when I'm playing on the PlayStation and the Switch, like Carver said, the controls are kind of switched. You know what I mean? No pun intended.
Well, the nice thing with the PlayStation though is instead of A B X Y, it's X square circle triangle. So
Yeah.
at least that way your brain can kind of make that differentiation a little better. Because with an Xbox, it's like push A, and and on Switch it's like push A, but A and B are switched on Xbox and Switch. So so that's even more difficult coming from an Xbox person versus a PlayStation person. But so yeah, I think it's a little better coming from both those consoles if you do
Yeah.
PlayStation and Switch.
Yeah, I
Um,
think for PC it's the easiest because you can literally use any controller you want. Like you can even use the old Nintendo controller on PC. I've used
That's true.
Old Nintendo controller. I've used Xbox One controller. I just used the PC keyboard and mouse. I haven't tried the PlayStation 4 controller yet, but I will have to do that.
So I will say one thing though. So with games on PC that you try and use a controller with, some of those games don't use what's called aim assist, which I feel like is kind of necessary with controller play. Um, so, for instance, I have Battlefront on PC and I have Battlefront on my PlayStation. If I play on my PlayStation, I can. It's pretty fluid and plays really good with controller. But if I try and put my controller on the PC, there's no aim assist, and it is pretty much impossible to aim without the aim assist. And I know it's kind of like, aim assist is like helping you aim, but in a way, it's kind of needed with controllers because you don't
Yeah.
have that accuracy with the mouse and keyboard, and just aiming with the joystick, you kind of need that aim assist. So it's a little annoying playing with controller on PC if games don't have that aim assist ability enabled.
Yeah.
So
You can also get monitors with aim assist because I know I have a 27-inch gaming monitor with aim assist, and it literally has a button that you click on, and it enables it, and it also like literally has like a target for you already on there.
oh really interesting.
Hmm. So I guess I have a question that I want everyone to answer. What is one thing about your console that you find like you just can't? That's the one thing you just can't stand about it.
Okay. For me, when it comes to the Switch, like I said, the drifting Joy-Cons is like, it really gets on my nerves and stuff like that. But a more of a minor issue is like with the games that's currently being added to the Switch, like mainly because like a good amount of the Switch's game lineup is mainly just ports from the Wii U and other consoles. I mean, like the Wii U I can see because that console didn't do the best, and like I said, there are multiple different PlayStation games and Xbox games. Some PC games being ported to the Switch is less like, and this is more of an personal issue though, but I'm not a big fan of how Nintendo is just keeping quiet about everything with the Switch's release titles and stuff like that.
I mean, I think with VR, my biggest thing is I kind of mentioned earlier, like being able to play all games on it is not really doable. So you're kind of, I mean, it's doable, but it's like I was saying, it's a little annoying. So if you get like a drink or a snack and you want to snack while you're gaming or something, it's not really that easy because you can't see anything around you unless you take the headset off. So I'd say with VR, that's the biggest annoyance, I guess.
I think for PC, it's just portability. I mean, I guess they fixed that with gaming laptops. So I guess another flaw I don't like is like the processing, like how they did it. So like you just have to like constantly get like, because right now they have like i9 out for Intel, but they update that yearly, or try to anyway. And so you kind of have to just like buy the new processing unit if you want to keep up to date with like the best, speeds, like for playing games and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, the thing that mainly annoys me about the PS4, and this is more of a common thing, but it's just the one thing that I can really think of at the moment, is when, like, for example, if you lose power in your house, it like could corrupt the console, and I find that really annoying when it does that. Oh, also, something I found out about, at least I've had experience with this. Sometimes if you don't get on like a downloaded from online game after a while, it will stop letting you play it for some of the games, which is really annoying.
Yeah, like I think some games, if you don't play them for a while, they'll just stop updating, and then if you go back to play it, it'll just be like, oh, before you can play this, you have to update it. I hate when that happens.
I really can't stand how the updates take like hours at a time.
Yeah.
And you can't.
Oh yeah,
instead of sit and wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, for PC,
Like
I mean, I mostly use Steam on there. You can set it where the specific games that you play the most will automatically update. It sets it as a priority to update those first, then other games.
And here's a quick question that goes to all of you. Like, what is your favorite game on each one of your consoles?
Oh.
If you had to pick one.
That is tough.
In my opinion, on Switch, for me, it's probably Smash Ultimate.
Agree with that. I'll agree with that.
I do admit, though, the game does kind of irritate me with the online server, though. I hate GSP.
Well, I'm, as I mentioned earlier, Half-Life Alyx is the best VR game, but I also want to throw out, I'm kind of a PlayStation fan, and my favorite game on PlayStation, kind of actually favorite game of all time, is Horizon Zero Dawn. That's one of the coolest games ever.
Oh yeah, like I mentioned, I do have a PlayStation 4, and I have to say, if I had to pick a favorite game for that, it would have to be Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for me it's hard because it's between like Call of Duty Black Ops 4, GTA 5, and the Crew 2 Golden Edition. Because those are really fun. I mean, I guess if you're going for like strictly shooting game, then it's obviously Black Ops. But if you're going for like more a combined version, you're going for GTA. And if you're just looking to race, just go to Crew 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for me, it would probably be either GTA 5, which I find to be a really good game, or the Spider-Man game.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
I just can't beat it because I suck at it, though.
Ew.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
though, I do gotta admit, though, for my...
What's up? Well, I was going to say, so one thing on that point, PlayStation really does have the most exclusives. And that's kind of one reason why I think if I had to pick a console, I'd definitely go with PlayStation, just because it's just the amount of exclusives is just crazy. I mean, you've got some exclusives on Xbox like Halo and Gears of War, which those are good games. But PlayStation, I mean, just to name off a few, Uncharted, Horizon, Death Stranding, which actually, you know what? Now that I think about that, those games are going to be on PC pretty soon. But yeah, Spider-Man was another great one. Yeah, there's just lots of great ones. And then Switch, of course, has a ton of exclusives, but those are mostly Nintendo-based exclusives, like Smash, Zelda, all that stuff.
Okay. No, you go.
Well, I have to say, I play a lot of Minecraft. I know it can be on anything, but I personally feel like that's one of my favorites on the Xbox. And then GTA, of course, and then some Call of Duty on there. I like playing that on there.
Yeah, Minecraft is a great game.
Yeah.
And it pretty much, I think Minecraft is pretty much on anything, even a phone. So, it's like a good universal game.
Yeah, I think Minecraft's the most common game that gamers have played.
Probably, yeah.
Although I will say one thing about, I'm glad that we brought up Minecraft, because when it comes to Switch, and I know at least for PS4, you can kind of play together with a Switch controller on a PS4.
The cross-platform, you mean, or just?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because I know when I've played it at your place, we've used that before.
Yeah, the cross-platforms for all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think PlayStation finally relaxed their rules on that, so now you can play cross-platform with pretty much anything now. So I know a couple years ago they were kind of being stingy about it and saying like, no, only PlayStation users can play with PlayStation users. But now they're allowing cross-platform and everything. There's even a VR version of Minecraft, which is kind of cool to play. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Like, I guess there's two ways. You can actually swing your arm to hit the block, and just keep swinging to like do stuff. You can even like swing your sword to hit zombies and whatnot. Or you can, if you're lazy and don't want to, you can also just push and hold a button down, and it'll just do it like normal. But I think the coolest thing with VR and Minecraft is it's just the world feels so much bigger because you're actually like in it rather than just looking at a screen.
Yeah, it's other consoles. VR.
Yeah, so it's definitely cool to play. There's a lot of old games that have kind of ported to VR. Minecraft, of course, and then there's like Skyrim, Fallout, and Doom. I think was another one that they basically made a port of. But it's kind of cool going back to those older games and playing them in VR. But yeah.
Yeah. And they've done that with a couple of games too, because I remember they were working on a version for like a VR GTA too.
Oh yeah.
I found to be hilarious on the videos.
Yeah, I think that's on PC. There's a mod or something you can download that lets you play VR and GTA.
Yeah.
It looks pretty fun. I haven't tried it, but it looks pretty cool. It's definitely interesting. I guess it kind of brings me a question to you guys. Have any of you guys played VR?
Yes.
I have not, but I want to.
I know Christian's played a little bit of my VR stuff. But-
Yes. I will say, especially after your first time playing VR, when you get out of it, it's so weird adjusting back to the real world.
Yeah, there's the term is called building your VR legs, because I've had VR for I don't even know how long, for like 4 or 5 years when the first one came out. And at first, I mean, you definitely get like that nausea, like dizzy feeling if you played for too long, just because your brain's just like, wait, the ground's moving, but you're not. What's going on? But building your VR legs definitely over time just gets better and better, and then you kind of lose that nausea feeling you'll get, or that weird feeling you get when you take your headset off. And another game that is like one of my top favorite games in VR, I wanted to bring up is Beat Saber. Have you guys seen that one before?
I have watched tons of videos about it.
Yeah, that game was surprising. At first when I saw it, years ago, I was like, yeah, it looks kind of cool. It's like lightsabers and you break blocks and whatever. And then, there's more and more hype kind of coming up about it. And so I finally was like, you know what, I'll pick it up. It was on sale for like $20 or something. Picked it up, and yeah, it's one of the coolest games I've ever played. I mean, that's a game that just has so much replayability, and it's just a quick little, like, if you want to jump in and do one song, you can. If you want to jump in and do 100 songs, you can. So that game is a lot of fun. So have you played that one, Christian? Beat Saber?
Which one again? What's the name of it?
Beat Saber with the lightsabers.
I think I played it a little bit. I think I played it a little bit at your place, but anyways,
Yeah.
I think we should probably start wrapping it up. Hit the like button if you want me and Carver to debate the PS5 and Xbox Series X.
Ooh.
Also, comment down below if you think phone gaming should be considered like an actual like gamer thing.
Mm.
'Cause
Also,
personally,
That's
I don't know.
debatable.
Also, comment down below of like what type of gamer you are.
yeah, definitely let us
Yes.
know what you prefer. So yeah. We
Thanks for having me on the show.
no problem. So yeah. And I just found anyways. So yeah, that is our thing. We are signing out. Bye.
See you guys.
Bye.